Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Mountain Harmony Gardening. I'm Kristen, and today is our August garden tour. It's been a long time since I did a garden tour. It was the beginning of July, and now it's coming towards later August. And I want to show you what we've been doing in the garden. Our bleeding heart used to be right here, and I cut it back not long ago. I did a short on that, so it was pretty much done for the season. So we cut this one back, and we also cut the other one back that was in the corner. But I found that my fern was still alive under here, and I didn't think it was. I was very excited to see it. And so it's doing a lot better with some more sunshine, and so are the two columbines that are over here. This bleeding heart, or not bleeding heart, this barberry is doing really good, but unfortunately, this one is not. You can see that there's a tiny bit of green on it. I'm not exactly sure what is going on, but the root weevils have started to eat it. And I didn't think that there would be a difference between a red barberry and a green barberry, but I guess there is. And I might just have to take it out again if it doesn't make it. I'm going to leave it over winter time. But I planted a little hosta next to it, and it's doing well. And our poor double flowering almond is getting eaten, and so is our dogwood. And you'll have seen that I took out our forsythia. Completely took it out because I gave it a trim up, and there was pretty much nothing left. And when I cut it completely down, the stems were even hollow. But I put in this hibiscus. It is doing great. The root weevils are not eating it at all. And I think it's because it's red and has fuzzy leaves. And when I was doing some research, I found out that that type of leaf does really, really well against root weevils. This part of the garden hasn't changed a whole lot, which is good. And there's the Socks kitty. Hi, Socks. Hi. Laying there giving herself a bath. And this part of the garden is our new part that we added. And I even have some columbines in bloom right now, the yellow ones, which are some of my favorites. All these plants are doing pretty good, except for this little ground cover is starting to get eaten by the root weevils, pretty much everything that eats my garden. But the rest of this looks so good. I am so happy with it. And it's filling in really nice. Now, our raspberry trellis that Donnie and I have built. This is doing amazing. It looks good, it functions well, and I love it. And it's so easy to use. So if the plant is kind of hanging out like this, you just have to put it up onto the next wire, and it works really well. So it's doing exactly what I want it to. And the raspberries are even starting to flower, so we're getting our fall raspberries. The leaves look a little because they're getting eaten by the grasshoppers, but the rest of the plant is doing really well. And my little planters that I have here are starting to bloom too. Excited about that. And the comfrey still has some flowers on it. And the irises did not bloom this year, but I'm really hoping that they bloom next year because I transplanted them I think it was last summer is about the time that I planted those. So we're going to walk over to the Japanese garden. Donnie does have some plans for the front of the shed. We're hoping to put on a deck. So you can see, oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, we have some really big orb weavers this year, and there's one. I almost stuck my hand in that. Ooh, okay. All right, back up. Okay, enough. Oh, enough with the spiders this year. No more spiders, okay? Oh, I've been trying to leave them alone because I know they eat the bugs, but oh, no thank you. All right, so the crab apple's doing really well. Has its own spider to protect it. The goji berry that is over here has finally reached the top of the trellis. It even has a couple flowers on it. And the clematis is getting eaten by the root weevils, and that's kind of just the time of the year for that one. If we walk into the Japanese garden, I want to talk about this area. I know that I have talked about this area over here before, but it is really, really time next year that I'm going to just have to take this whole entire thing out and put in a pond. There used to be a sidewalk here, and it didn't quite go all the way to the other side of the Japanese garden, but we took out the sidewalk. This is where we found like the 5 pound of nails or screws or something that were in the ground. And I swear that this ground keeps getting harder and harder no matter how much I dig it out or not. So I think that next year we're going to just go ahead and redo it because I've lost my hostas that are here. The decorative grass is pathetic. Do you see that? It's like a couple little, I mean, what kills grass? So also the lucifer plant, it's done. I mean, it didn't even flower this year and it's already dying back. So this part doesn't look great. The other part is okay. And then if we come back around to this side of the Japanese garden, it looks totally different. Our apple tree is doing well. Our sage, there's 2 types of sage in here. We have some oregano, thyme, lavender. These decorative grasses are beautiful. And this fell over the other day. But I did have a beautiful gladiola. I think it got broken. Maybe the bird will hold it up. And the other gladiola is done. But this is the time of the year when all of our gladiolas start to bloom. And this one will be blooming here soon. And I'm sure that it'll probably be a red one because it's right next to this one. So this part is doing fantastic. Our planter has done so well. In fact, it did a lot better than I expected because all of the dahlias that are up front were supposed to be half this size. So when I told you guys about planting this, so like that dahlia is a large one and I knew that. The red hot poker I thought would bloom again and it didn't. And then the foxglove back there, the flowers are really short. So I'm definitely learning something about this year. So next time, all the dahlias are going towards the back and the other plants are going to come forward, but I still have really beautiful flowers. I mean that, here, if I could turn that towards you, look how pretty that is. Such a beautiful dahlia. So I'm happy with all of this, even though it's a little overgrown, that's okay. And then back here in the backyard, our grow bags have been a little bit hit and miss, and I will be talking about that in a video soon. And also, look at this goji berry. I've even got berries, and I've got so many flowers. It loves it in this pot, and it loves this location. I am definitely not moving that one. And our pepper plants have finally started to take off. Now, the ones that you see, they're all really large, are the ones that we bought. Now, the ones that we got from seed or started from seed are kind of sad. This one didn't even grow. Look at that, poor thing. So these ones are a little sad, and I'm going to get new seeds this next year. And I just reset this bed, and I will be doing a video on Friday about what I did to this bed. And if you look across the way, you'll see that our raspberry trellis over there is definitely working. I actually can walk on that side of the flower bed now, the raised garden bed. But I'm not going to go in there because there's a lot of wasps right now. They love the raspberry bush for some reason. But everything's doing well, and it's starting to flower again. A huge, huge win this year has been our melon bed. If you take a look at that, I have never had melons this good. That's a kajari right there, and we have several of them in the garden. And now we have socks in the garden. And then this, where is my first watermelon? There's the first watermelon. I'm so excited. But this flower bed or veggie bed has done really good this year. And this is the one that we reset completely. We dug in a whole bunch of new compost because the ground was getting really compacted. And I have never had this many melons ever survive. But they did, and it looks great. And I am so happy with this. And you can see all of our beautiful sunflowers. Look at this, it's so pretty. I love it. And I think I'm gonna have to stake some of them up because they are starting to go everywhere and fall over. Another thing that I wanted to point out was look at the zucchinis. They are growing vertical, and that one got away from us. I'm gonna have to pick that one tonight. But they're doing great. This vertical experiment that I'm doing has worked out wonderful. So I'm happy with that. And, oh, look at this. Our onions, look at that. Our onions have gone to seed. I can sprinkle those in the garden, that's okay. But I am gonna be saving some of those. So we will have onions next year, and I'm gonna start them from our own seeds because I know that these ones will do well here. All right, kind of squeeze my way through the sunflowers and the tomatoes. And I want to show you the other side of this bed. Kind of get a different view of it. And next year I'm going to be taking out the fennel because I'm not using a whole lot of it and it's not bulbing up. So I'm going to give the zucchini next year a little bit more room, but look at that dahlia. That dahlia is almost as tall as I am, and I have never had a dahlia get that large. Last year I grew it, and it was probably half that size. So that's the one that I dug up in fall and I saved. I am so excited with that. It is so beautiful. Okay, on to this bed. I'm going to be completely resetting this bed next year, because everything that I planted underneath it did not come up. And I think it's because the collard greens got too big. It's okay. We've got collard greens, a lot of collard greens, but I'm going to redo this so that I have more of a variety because I would like more kale than I would the collard greens. And this is our perennial kale. This one I will not be taking out because it kind of hangs over here and we have space for it. Oh, look at that nasturtium. Let me show you. Oh, how pretty is that? That is such a beautiful red. I ordered every single one of Baker Creek's nasturtium seed packets this year, and I planted them all. So I do have a lot of nasturtiums, and now that the weather is cooling off, they will love it. Oh, look, we've got another cucumber. They've been doing so well. And then these are richer sweet melons. And we have several of them in the garden. And what happens is they turn red and yellow, and then when they're ready, they just drop off the vine. So it's perfect. You know exactly when to pick them. Well, not pick them, they fall off. The pumpkin trellis. Oh my goodness. I was out here yesterday and it wasn't even this large. I think this grows by foot every single day. It has done so well. I am really happy that we reoriented this so that now it gets a lot more sunshine, and I can tell the difference this year. So we have an orange pumpkin back there, and we have some other ones that are starting to turn orange, and I can't even walk back there. I think I'm going to switch spots with Donnie so he can show you how large the plants are. And the summer squash, or the spaghetti squash, are doing really well. They are some of the largest we have ever grown. And then underneath, we have all of our nasturtiums growing. It's so pretty. And then, if I can squeeze in here, I can kind of take you underneath the trellis, and I can show you what's growing in here. So we have more cucumbers growing, and oof, grasshoppers, go away. Lots of grasshoppers, lots. This Swiss chard is huge. Look at this. And this is a volunteer. It just popped up. I have that happen every year now, ever since I put Swiss chard in here. This is our volunteer tomato plant, and I think that it's a black cherry tomato because that's the type of cherry tomatoes I was growing in here last year. The spoon tomatoes are finally getting flowers, and I need to come in here and clip this all back because it's starting to fall down. But we have several tomatoes in here. It's hard to see from that angle. But we also have some other cherry tomatoes, and then look at the beefsteaks. They are really starting to get big. So the tomatoes are doing really well this year, and I'm very happy with them. And also, here's one of our other melons. I can't remember exactly what kind they are, but I'll have to put that up on screen for you and show you. I'll look at the seed packet. But all the rest of the flowers and everything in here have kind of gotten taken over because this section of the yard has done so much better than it has before. And I mean, you can see that the tomatoes are growing all the way through the top of the trellis. So that is great. I am so happy with the way that the yard has turned out this year. There are definitely some failures, like with our barberry up front, but there are so many successes this year that I just had to share with you what our garden looks like at this time of the year. So thanks for watching, everyone. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Happy gardening, everyone.